Boom. Alright, I don't really consider myself the theory person, but I mean, eventually I just got a bunch of dots that connected with each other so naturally that I had to talk about this. This is insane. This is the most useless theory that I think like two people are going to care about, and one of them is me. uh, but I'm glad to show this to that second person because I really need someone to see this. It is insane. A few months ago, a new teaser poster was released for the 17th season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It is a very long-running show, and a show that I hold near and dear to my heart. I love it a lot. It is genius, and there's no other words for it. Because there is still a lot of time between when this poster would be released and the actual new season being released, I decided to take it upon myself, along with many other It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fans, to rewatch it again. And honestly, I was looking for an excuse at this point. I had not rewatched the show in a while, and there's just so much gold in there. The earlier seasons are just, I mean, amazing. And those middle seasons, perfect. And those later seasons, obviously, it's, I don't think it's that, it's their best work, obviously, but there's still definitely some funny fucking shit that happens in the later seasons. So, I don't really see why people want to distinct or be like, oh, I love the earlier seasons. I'm so niche and I'm artistic and they did and this and that, and it's like, who cares, man? It was always supposed to be a goofy little show, and it was funny. I'm getting sidetracked. So I started to watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia again. I was going through, I can't fucking pronounce that title, by the way. I didn't retake me doing 3 separate takes for the fucking intro because I cannot say Philadelphia for some reason. Or I can't say It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia there. So I was cruising through this show. I mean, absolutely beastly. I was going through season to season to season, and I was finally getting to the seasons that are just gold to me, those middle ones, the 4, 5, 6. Maybe even 6, 7.
Eventually, I got to season 5, episode 1.
This episode was good. People like it. As an 8.3 out of 10 on IMDb, so clearly people like it. It was good. It was just something that I was watching before I went to work, basically. And then a very interesting character had came up, and it spiraled me into this theory. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever watched Yellow Jackets? Probably not. And if you have, you're probably thinking, why are you talking about Yellow Jackets? That show is terrible. And I would agree with you, because they killed all the good characters, and they did not do the lesbian relationship between Jackie and Shauna, the ultimate Yuri to ever exist on this fucking planet. Van and Ty are good as well, though. They're actual lesbians, not fictional ones. Here's what you need to know about Yellow Jackets. Yellow Jackets is a American thriller television series created by Ashley Lyle and blah 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 blah. All you need to know is someone very important was cast on this show. That person being Melanie Linsky. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it is this girl. And this is as awkward as it seems, as it may be in real life, because there's no picture here for me. Now, who is this girl? This girl is Shauna Shipman. It's the girl that I mentioned before about the Yuri. She is pretty much like a protagonist. She is the protagonist. I mean, there's obviously other characters that are important, but she's like the main focus of the show. And I love her. She's a fucking crazy girl, man. She is an insane person. There's no one as greatly written as her. As like the worst fucking story path. Literally ruined her character. They ruined her character. It's like she was just a fucking mom, and then they made her kill this guy. I'm getting onto a tangent that is so unrelated. But wow, I would love to one day talk about how much Yellow Jackets sucks, because that writing, I hate it. I hated it. Okay, so what's important about this character and how does it connect to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Well, in the gang tries to exploit, the gang exploits the mortgage crisis. Jesus. So this takes place in 2008, and Dee is basically trying to exploit a married couple who can't have a baby. What connects this plot in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Yellow Jackets is the mom in that family that Dee is trying to scam, right? She is played by that same actress. And so what, right? So what, big deal? Who cares? Who cares? But here's the thing, there are so many dots that connect other than just the fucking actress. So, second of all, the husband is like a clueless, forgiveless guy, basically exactly like Jeff. Just a fucking dumbass who has no clue what's happening, but is just the most innocent person ever. But is just like, I'll give him a chance. The husbands act exactly the same. I'm surprised it wasn't played by the same fucking actor, because it might as well have been. Here's the thing as well, Yellow Jackets takes place in New Jersey. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't think I need to specify where it takes place. The two places are very, very close to each other. It's only like an hour fucking drive away. And you're probably thinking, well, if Yellow Jackets takes place an hour away from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, then why would Shauna Shipman be in Philadelphia? Here's the simple answer, and this is what connects the two, and this is ultimately my theory. This wasn't just a simple, this girl happened to be in this episode. That's insane. They would never do that. Something deeper was happening. So if you actually don't know anything about Yellow Jackets, basically the main thing is that they get in a plane crash and then they're stranded in the woods, okay? It's that classic scenario. It's like that other thing. So here's what I think happened. After Shauna Shipman had a kid, which she did have, she ends up having a kid in the show. So after she had a kid, it became news because she was a celebrity, basically, like a town celebrity because of the plane crash. They treated it like this crazy thing, like, wow, these are such survivors, and what happened over there, what happened in the woods, and it just remained a constant thing in their life, no matter how old they got. That's like a main theme of the show. So along with this baby and her already celebrity status, I mean, she was overwhelmed with attention that was focusing on her personal life and her baby. And who wouldn't? I mean, that would just be awful to deal with. In fact, it got so bad to her that she left the baby with a trusted individual, maybe even Ty, to take care of it for a little. And she left for a while. The reason was to kind of just play it cool and maybe see what her life would be like outside of New Jersey, try and explore a little bit. And she went to Philadelphia. After living in Philadelphia for a while, they kind of just got used to it and wanted to stay there. They even talked about having a baby again and kind of just thought about that for a few years while still living in the same area. Eventually, Shauna was open to the idea. She had already gotten her tubes tied after having Callie, though, and didn't really want to get reversed. So she was okay with having a surrogate. A few years later of finding different surrogates and finding the best plan for having this child, they finally found one. This one being Dee, obviously. After the disaster that Dee and the rest of the gang imposed on Shauna and Jeff, this scared them right back to New Jersey. The truth is, after this situation, Shauna was so scared that all she could think about was what was happening to her child back in New Jersey. So they decided to go back, and pretty much their lives were ruined because they moved back because of all the events that happened in Yellow Jackets, which is exactly what the gang does. That's, a main central theme of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, that the gang ruins anybody that they interact with. And that's pretty much what happened with Shauna. She just got ruined. And that's my theory. And there's not really much known of Shauna's life before the events of Yellow Jackets that are shown, right? Everything, before the first episode is kind of just Shauna's life growing up that we don't get to see. And this kind of shows us where she was at some point in her life. I mean, she was clearly in a rough spot and desperate. She had nowhere to go. Another main thing that connects these two things so well is the timeline. Time is a very, very complicated thing. You can't take something from 2016 in 200 BC and connect, just the two alone together. It just makes up for messy storytelling. But this storytelling is exactly on point. The gang explores the mortgage crisis, takes place in 2008. The ages match with Shauna. By 2008, Shauna would be married and 29 years old. So pretty much exactly where she would be at that point in her life. Same with Jeff. In 2008, he was 28. We know the ages of these people because they showed their kid versions and their adult versions. In case you haven't watched the show, there's a lot of information that I'm not giving. We know that Shauna was 17 in the show at the beginning, and Jeff was 16 in the show at the beginning when he was a kid, and that's around in 96. So in 2008, that's 29, and in 2021, which is when the current events of Yellow Jackets takes place, Shauna would be 42 and Jeff would be 41, and that would match up perfectly. The timelines match up, the actress matches up, the attitudes of Jeff and the husband in the mortgage crisis episode, they act the exact same. It makes sense that they would move to Philadelphia to try and get away from the attention that having a child would put on a mother who has that history. It would make sense why they moved back after the situation with the gang, because they completely ruined everything. That's the theory. That's the video. This is true. This is all a true thing. This is one of those things where it's better in your head and then you actually do it and then it's not as good. This was a weekly video that I'm pretty much going to be posting like right before the week ends. I'm really scraping this one. Thank you for watching.